everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I am sharing with you my year-to-date stats, as well as sharing with you what I am planning in my bullet journal. I tried to do some planning or tracking in 2019, and that didn't go so well for me. The approach I took in 2019 was way too detailed for what my lifestyle allows. It required me to log in daily reading counts, and that type of thing just doesn't work for me. I'm not one that will usually go to my tracker and track things on a daily basis. I like to just see very simple information. The whole reason why I was trying to do a more detailed tracking in 2019 was to see if by tracking daily I could better understand if I was liking something I was reading, seeing the rate at which I would pick up certain books or mangas or whatever. And so I decided to simplify this year, and I'll talk a little bit more about my tracker when I show you my tracker. But for right now, we're going to start off with the stats. I thought it would be interesting to share with you my reading stats per month as the year goes on, instead of just doing one big year-end stats video. So yeah, I hope to have one of these up every month to show you how my stats are changing. But I'm pretty much using the same questionnaire to get my reading stats. So basically, I have created a Google form that has a bunch of questions on it, and after I finish each book, I go on and input the information, and then I have a spreadsheet that will take all of the information and put it into a nice stat for me. That being said, I should be inputting books every time I finish them. However, I do find that, and because I did this last year, I have noticed this trend, that I don't fill out my Google form until the month is practically over. So I figure as long as I get the information in, it'll show me what I want to know, and that's really all I need. So let's get into it. I read a total of 12 things in January. I read 8 novels and 4 volumes of manga. Of the 12 things I read, 4 of them I already owned, 2 of them I borrowed from the library, and 6 of them I borrowed from Kindle Unlimited. And if I had bought the items that I had read through Kindle Unlimited, I would have paid $21.90. I can tell you that the 6 things I read from Kindle Unlimited were all audiobooks. They were books 2 through 6 of the Nameless series by Dean Koontz, and the 4th book in the Stacey Justice series called Emerald Isle. Of the novels I read, 2 of them I read physically as ebooks. Those were A Shiver of Light by Laurel K. Hamilton and The Exiled Queen, which is the 2nd book in the Seven Realms series by Cinda Williams Chima. I did not read anything as a combination of book and audiobook in January, which is a bit surprising because a majority of what I did consume last year was a combination of book and audiobook. I pretty much stuck to one format for each of the novels that I read in January, so that was interesting. As far as series goes, I started 1 series and I completed 2 series. The series that I started was actually Waiting for Spring. I had read volume 1 of Waiting for Spring in 2019, but I ended up rereading it for my In Real Life manga club in January, so technically it's not a start of series. I'm not sure how I want to deal with that as far as my stats go, because I had already taken it into consideration as a start of series in 2019. But I guess for the purposes of 2020 totals, it is a start of the series. This is a series that I do really want to complete in 2020 because I know that the last volume is coming out shortly, and I just want to read right through that. First volume was very interesting to me the first time I read it. In fact, it was one of my borrows from Kindle Unlimited last year in 2019, and I liked it so much I ended up deciding that I wanted to collect it for my physical manga library. So that's what I'm doing. Anyway, off topic. And then I finished two series, which was the Mary Gentry series by Laurel K. Hamilton and the Nameless series by Dean Koontz. I read one standalone, and it was actually a volume of manga. It was an omnibus of Wadanahara and the Great Blue Sea. This was a read for my In Real Life Manga Club. Also, you can see that I don't read a lot of standalone novels or mangas. I'm definitely a series reader. Not that I constantly look for series. I think it's just harder for me to look for standalone novels. I don't make a conscious effort to do it. Of the 12 things that I read in January, all of them were published before 2020. Like I said in my 2019 reading stats video, I don't expect that there are going to be a lot of 2020 releases on my stats list. It's not something that I usually seek out. However, I do find that I have the want to read several manga titles that are coming out in 2020. And so maybe the number of 2020 releases that I read this year will surpass what I had in 2019. We shall see. So anyway, those are all of the stats that I collected for January. Now I'll flip you over to my planner so you can see a few of the things that I am tracking. Okay, so I've turned you around now, and I thought I'd share with you what my planner looked like last year, and again go over why I decided to stop tracking this way. So this was the last time I tracked in this. As you can see, it is a bullet style journal. The last time I tracked in it was May 2019. So I had gotten through 5 months before I decided this just wasn't working for me. So basically what I was doing was I was putting the month over here and then designating a color for the number of chapters that I was reading. So 1 to 2 chapters was one color, 3 to 4 chapters another color, 5 to 6 and so on. And then if I finished it in one sitting, it was a separate color. And that was normally reserved for manga volumes. And then as I finished each book, I would designate the finish with a star. So it would tell me where I finished the book, just visually. So I have the number of days up here for the month and then the titles. Now, as you can see, I had started reading a lot of manga. I think I started reading a lot in February of last year when the Manga Love Readathon was happening. That one's hosted by Shay over at Shay Geeks Out. I'll link her down in the description box below because she does have another round coming up. I'm not sure if this video is going to go up before or after that round, probably after, but definitely check out the link to her channel because she does host Manga Love Readathons in other months. At least she did one in fall of 2019. Anyway, getting off topic again. So as you can see, I was reading a lot of manga, and if I flip back to April, we were doing the Lohali 30 for 30, and you can see that I had just read so much, I didn't think I was going to have enough lines, so I ended up putting a sticky note. But the rest of the page just wasn't really getting used, and I was having a hard time remembering to go through and put the number of chapters that I read per day. And then if I go back even more, this is March Mystery Madness month. Another thing that I should probably mention, March Mystery Madness is coming up. So if you like reading mysteries, definitely check us out. Links for our Goodreads group and our Twitter is down in the description box below. Also, announcements should already be out by the time this video goes up. So anyway, this is all of the stuff that I read in March. So basically, it was just a visual to show me if I was picking things up on a regular basis. Like through here, I was reading this book every day, but I know that that was because I was buddy reading it with my good friend Shannon over at Shannon Riddler. She is not making videos at this moment, but definitely check out her blog because she is posting written content. But you can see, like, I didn't pick up the book in here. So that's kind of the thing that I was looking for with this type of tracking. Like you can see here for Unraveling, I picked it up, but I hadn't picked it up for the first like 8 days. And then so many days went by before I picked it up again. And that was the kind of thing that I was looking for. Because I was finding that my ratings kind of didn't match the frequency that I was picking up things. And so I wanted to try to see if by tracking this way, it would help me. The problem is that even though seeing it visually helped me, I couldn't stay consistent with making sure that I was logging every day. So I stopped. And then during Vlogmas in December of 2019, I was watching one of Danny D's videos. And she had put together a very simple way of tracking things. And I thought, I think that'll work for me. Because I'm not so concerned about the frequency that I'm picking up things anymore. I just want to know what I've read in a month and things like that. And so I decided to start 2020 a different way. I will link Danny D down in the description box below. Definitely go check her out. She does some planning or planner videos. So if you'd like to see how she does her tracker, or even see any of her other content, because I think she's great as well. She does read manga as well as novels and comics. So yeah, check her out. And so I'll show you my 2020 planning. So I'm starting the 2020 planning section, and as you can see, I used a little magnetic bookmark just so that I know where 2020 starts. Eventually, I'll put some kind of marker in so that I know that, but I wanted to track the completed series that I had completed in 2020, and so even though I'm tracking that by number on my electronic sheet, my Google Doc, I wanted to keep track of the actual series. That's something that I didn't have information for when I did my stats in 2019. And so I'm trying to make it a point to write down each series that I complete in 2020. So as you can see, I've already completed 2 series. And I had mentioned that in the previous section of this video. The Mary Gentry series by Laurel K. Hamilton and Nameless by Dean Koontz. So then if I flip the page, I'm doing novels read in 2020 because I want to see the number of novels that I read. And please don't mind my terrible handwriting, but this is pretty much all that you're going to see as far as headers. I just wanted it really simple. I don't have any need for it to be pretty because I really only need this for information. I'm not looking at it to be like this huge art project. I am terrible at art. And so, yeah, I just want it for information purposes. So, this is going to be the entire list of novels I read in 2020. As you can see, I've read 8 novels. And because I know there's not enough lines for like 50 to 52 books, I've designated both pages for that this year. Now, last year I had strived to read 52 novels, and I didn't make it. I think I only read 48 or something like that. I can't remember. But, I read a lot. If you combine all of the manga that I read, the number of pages I had read in 2019 was much higher than it was in 2018. So in 2020, I'm not really concerned with how many novels I read. I just want to make sure that I am reading novels and not just reading manga, because I do enjoy novels. I enjoy reading text without necessarily seeing pictures, though manga is highly entertaining, don't get me wrong. So yeah, I'm tracking all of the novels that I read in 2020 on these two pages, and then these are my January reads. So as you can see, I'm using two colors here. I did mess up down here, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. So I wanted two separate colors because I wanted to distinguish between novels and manga. So going back to this page, you can see that all of the novels that I read in January are this turquoise color. So I kind of want to associate a color with the month. So when I start putting in novels that I read in February, there'll be a different color. So that's kind of the thing that I'm going to try to stick to. As you can see here, the black is all manga, except for this one. This one should have been turquoise because it is a novel, but I didn't want to try to white it out and rewrite over it because it was going to get messy. But that's okay, the information's there and I do have it correctly done on this page. So then something that Danny D was doing that I thought was interesting was to track what she was watching and where she was watching it, how many episodes she was watching it. So I thought I'd give that a try this year. I know I do watch a lot, and so I was kind of shocked to see how long the the list was, but that's okay. One of the things that I want to make sure that I'm using this year is my Viki subscription, which is this one down here. They primarily do Asian dramas on their service. And in 2019, I noticed that I wasn't using it that much. So I signed up for Cocoa, which is here. Like I said, I found that I wasn't using my Viki service as much. And a big reason why was because a lot of the dramas I wanted to watch were on what's called a Viki Pass Plus, I think. Anyway, Viki has an agreement with Cocoa where they can charge a more premium service and then Viki subscribers can have access to it. But anyway, I'm not subscribed to that subscription. And so I knew that Cocoa had their own service, and so in looking at the price, I thought going with Cocoa was going to be a better option because their subtitles are done by professionals, whereas Viki's subtitles are done by viewers and fans. Even the Cocoa stuff, I believe, is subtitled by viewers and fans. So I was going to switch. However, when I tried to cancel my Viki subscription, they gave me a really great deal. It was like 40% off, I think. So I decided to renew it for another year and see how much I was using it and then reassess. My subscription comes up in October. And so I'm kind of collecting data for that. But as you can see, I do watch more on Cocoa than I do for Viki. But anyway, let's go from the start. So I did start the year with my rewatch of Haikyuu. You can see I started Haikyuu Season 1 at episode 19 in January. That's because I had started the rewatch in December. And this is all in preparation for the release of the 4th season. And so, yeah, Haikyuu seasons 1, 2, and 3. And then you can see that I watch a bunch of crime TV, Bull, Evil, FBI, Hawaii Five-0, Magnum PI. And Hawaii Five-0 and Magnum PI, those are the remade series, not the old original series. Special 7 is an anime that's kind of crime related as well. Running Man is a Korean variety show that we have watched since the beginning. And then we go into the Haikyuu OVA, I think that's what you call it. The Land vs. Sky 2 episodes. And then, of course, we started watching season 4. 2 Days, One Night is another Korean variety show. Lincoln Rhyme is a new TV show, but I'm watching it on Hulu. I'm really enjoying it so far. I haven't read any of the Lincoln Rhyme books, but I'm thinking I'm going to want to pick up one here in the near future. I did watch the Bone Collector movie, and I enjoyed that one. I believe that one's Denzel Washington and Angelina Jolie. But, yeah, I'm really enjoying the Lincoln Rhyme TV show. NCIS LA, NCIS, the original series. FBI Most Wanted is a new spin-off of the FBI series, and I'm enjoying that one as well. Criminal Minds is in its last season, and I'm kind of sad because it's a series that I'm really interested in, and I, again, have followed it from the beginning, but I'm curious to see how all of that's going to end up. NCIS New Orleans, Please Take Care of My Refrigerator is another Korean variety show. It's more cooking related. The Good Doctor, this one is the American remake of the Korean drama. I am enjoying it, but not as much as I enjoyed the Korean drama. Then I started 911 Lone Star, which is a spin-off of 911. And that one has Rob Lowe and Liv Tyler. So far, really enjoying that one. SWAT Season 3 is excellent. I really enjoy SWAT. And I'm trying to catch up on Fire Force. I stopped watching Fire Force last fall when it went on a hiatus for a little bit. And then I never went back. But I really enjoyed the anime before I stopped watching it. And I also read a couple volumes of the manga and really enjoyed that as well. So the last thing that I'm tracking is planned purchases, and this is new for me. I never really had planned purchases. I never really went through the lists of things that were being released and tried to figure out, what I'd like to buy. I'd just go into the store and buy stuff. So I thought having planned purchases would be an interesting thing. There's a lot of series that I want to make sure that I keep up with the releases because I am collecting them. But there's also releases of new series that I'm highly interested in. And so I decided that having this planned purchases page would be something to help me figure out what I'd like to buy. Essentially, I really don't want this list to get any longer than one page every month. So that kind of also helps me make sure that I don't overspend. Now, that being said, I will probably always go into the store and buy other stuff, but these are the things that I'm most interested in. So you can see that I wrote down Bungo Stray Dogs, Volume 13, 7 Days, Monday through Sunday, which I believe is a BL title. Our Dining Table, which is also a BL title. I think these are all new releases. So Witch's Printing Office Volume 1, Scarlet Soul Volume 1, Marginal Operation Volume 1, Servant Volume 13. That is a series that my daughter has been reading and collecting. I haven't read it yet, but she is trying to get me to read it. We have watched the anime. I did enjoy it, so I probably will be getting into that one sometime, especially since we own it. An Incurable Case of Love Volume 2. I have not read Volume 1 yet. I was going to read it when I had Volume 2, however, Melissa, over at Melissa Reads, I believe her YouTube name is, she had said in one of her videos that there was a major cliffhanger at the end of Volume 2, and so I decided to hold off until Volume 3 came in. So thanks, Melissa, for that. I'll link her down in the description box below so you can check her out as well. Persona 5 Volume 1, that is completely something my daughter is interested in. She loves the video game. She's watched some of the animes. I think I watched Persona 4 with her, but that's about it. I don't like the game play style of Persona, and so I just watch her play it because I do find that interesting. The Way of the House Husband Volume 2, that was a title that I was very interested in last year. It was very entertaining, so I'm really looking forward to continuing this series. However, my in real life manga club had decided that The Way of the House Husband Volume 1 was going to be a read for February, so I will be rereading that one before I can continue, and I won't be able to read Volume 2 until we have our meeting. So I'm really looking forward to getting back into that one. Living Room Matsunaga-san was a series that I heard a lot about on Shay's channel over at Shay Geeks Out. Again, she's linked down in the description box below. That one just came in at the very end of January, or I should say was just delivered at the end of January, so I haven't gotten a chance to check it out yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. Great Priest Imhotep, I had it listed as a January 28th release, but I believe the release got pushed back to February because when I was checking my February planned purchases, it was listed in February instead of January. So anyway, I had pre-ordered that one. I did get a shipping confirmation, so I should have that one soon. Carnival Volume 9, that again is a series that my daughter has been reading. I picked that one up for her. It's another series that she's trying to get me to read, but I just haven't bit the bullet yet. Yoramushi Pedal, Volume 13. I am collecting this one because I just want to read it all the way through. We've watched both seasons, or 3 seasons? I think there's 3 seasons of the anime. We've watched them all. We watched the first 2 a few times. I really enjoy that series. It's another sports anime or a sports story about a cycling team, high school cycling team. And then we've got Cells at Work Code Black, if I can talk, volumes 2 and 3. As you can see, I didn't keep up with the publishing schedule. I did pick up volume 1 when it came out and then completely forgot to research when volume 2 was coming out. So I picked up volume 2 and 3 because volume 3 came out on the 21st of January. And then I had written a series that I'm interested in, but it's not a 2020 release. And that's Until the Full Moon, which is complete in 2 volumes. So as I receive them, I will color in the boxes. And again, it's going to be color coded, so each month will have a different color. That way I can kind of see when I receive the series. So since I'm getting Great Priest Imhotep in February, I will be coloring that box in different color. Probably pink, because I think I've decided that's going to be the color for February. And then whenever I decide to pick up Until the Full Moon will be whatever color that is. So as you can see, I've already started tracking for February. So far I've only read 1 volume of manga as the date of this filming, but it's going to be the same format. I've already put in my planned purchases, and you can see that my list is much shorter than it was in January. So just real quickly, I have Our Horror Ride, Volume 9, Shortcake Cake, Volume 7. I have read Volume 1 of Our Horror Ride, but I have not started Shortcake Cake yet. A Tropical Fish Yearns for Snow, Volume 2. This is a girls' love manga series that I started reading with my in real life manga club. We had decided on this title for January? Or was it December? Oh, I can't remember. But we read Volume 1 as a club read, and I really enjoyed it. And so I decided to go ahead and continue collecting that series about a high school aquarium club. I love aquariums. I'm really interested in sea life and those types of things. So I really enjoyed seeing all of the sea creatures and things. My Androgynous Boyfriend, Volume 1, is a highly anticipated release for me. I'm kind of hoping we're going to pick it for our March read at our next manga club meeting. But it's definitely something that I'm going to collect. Sayuki Omnibus 1, I am not sure if I'm actually going to pick that one up. My daughter thinks that it sounded interesting, and right now I can't even remember what it's about. But that one's kind of on my radar for February. The Royal Tutor Volume 13. Royal Tutor is a series that we've been collecting. My daughter is up to date with the releases as far as reading them. I have only read 1 or 2 volumes, but we have watched the anime, and I really enjoy that story. Magus of the Library Volume 3. I do own Volumes 1 and 2, but have not read them yet. Phantom Tales of the Night Volume 3. We read the first volume as a manga club pick in 2019, and I really enjoyed it. I collected Volume 2, haven't read it yet, but I definitely want to have this series in my collection. And then Ancient Magus' Bride Volume 12. I have all of the volumes. I have not read this story yet. I do think it's something that I'm going to enjoy, which is why I am collecting it, and the fact that I did collect volumes 1 through 11 at a very, very good price, like less than 50% or 50% off. So yeah, those are all the things that I have planned. If I find anything interesting for the rest of the month, I will note them down here. But like I said, I don't want my planned purchase list to go over 1 page. And then I know the Manga Love Readathon is coming up in February, like I had mentioned earlier, and I will probably make another page and notate all of the titles that I read for that separately, or behind this page. So, yeah, that's all of the things that I'm really tracking. Again, I just want it for information so that I can look back at things. Goodreads does a great job of giving me a wrap-up of the things that I read and log on their service throughout the year, but it just doesn't break it down into like manga versus novels or completed series, and so I want to have that information to view. And yeah, I did do a lot of stuff on my Google Doc because I kind of wanted it to have at hand wherever I was, but I do like tracking things on paper as well. And since I had already started this in this bullet journal, I didn't want to waste the paper. So yeah, I do enjoy writing things down. I just need to remember to be more consistent about my color usage. Starting off with a blue ballpoint pen here and then moving to black ink, and making sure that I keep the manga in one color and the novels in another color. But it's the start of a year, and I'm just getting used to things, and it's nothing fancy. You will never see a planner video from me. I will just do these like monthly kind of wrap up type stats videos for you. I think that might be interesting, especially for me to look back and see But let me know if you enjoy this type of video. It is quite a bit longer, so sorry about that. But if you enjoy this type of video, let me know and I'll continue to do them. So yeah, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you're all doing great, and until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.